Welcome, our dear viewer, to our reflections for the fourth Sunday of Lent. Our theme is Saved by the Love of the Father.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, the tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to hear Jesus. And the Pharisees and the scribes murmured, saying, "This man receives sinners and eats with them." So he told them this parable. There was a man who had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the share of property that falls to me." And he divided his living between them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had and took his journey into a far country, and there he squandered his property in loose living. And when he had spent everything, a great famine arose in that country, and he began to be in want. So he went and joined himself to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would gladly have fed on the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have bread enough and to spare, but I perish here with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants.' And he arose and came to his father. But while he was yet at a distance, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Bring quickly the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and make merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' And they began to make merry. Now his elder son was in the field, and as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what this meant. And he said to him, 'Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he has received him safe and sound.' But he was angry and refused to go in. His father came out and entreated him. But he answered his father, 'Behold, these many years I have served you, and I never disobeyed your command. Yet you never gave me a kid that I might make merry with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your living with harlots, you killed for him the fatted calf.' And he said to him, 'Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to make merry and be glad, for this your brother was dead and is alive. He was lost and is found.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
The scribes and the Pharisees are represented by the elder son. They kept all the commandments and precepts of the law, and they are convinced that by doing so, they acquired merit before God. They refuse to sit at table with sinners. These perfect people are, in the words of Jesus, running the risk of being left out of the feast. The parable is addressed to them, not to sinners. One day, the younger son decides to leave home. His father does not try to stop him, doesn't say a word. This shows the respect that God has for our freedom. Sometimes, even in the Father's house, there are and there can be unbearable situations which cause some to leave it. We must try to bring them back and ask ourselves, in all honesty, whether we were responsible for them leaving. Is the younger son sorry for what he has done? He doesn't seem so. All he worries about is his hunger. It would be different if he said to himself, "Look where I am. I have been such a fool. Maybe I will die. But I must tell my father I am sorry. I won't stay there because I do not deserve it." If he had thought like this, we would have seen some remorse. But all he wants is food. Even the short speech he prepares has the aim of asking his father for food. The scandalous aspect of the story is that the father embraces his son without asking for an apology. Had Jesus received repentant sinners, nobody would have complained. Even the scribes and the Pharisees forgave those who admitted their mistakes and promised to do better. Their irritation came from the fact that Jesus was friendly with the publican, who continued their work. He entered the house of unrepentant sinners. Jesus reveals God, who does not only love the just or the repentant, he loves all, always and unconditionally. Jesus asks us to love those who do evil to us. He does not tell us to love only those who beg our pardon. God respects our freedom, but He persecutes us with His love. And since His love is all-powerful, we know He will be successful. If the elder brother had been at home, the younger one would not have been allowed to come back. In our communities, the just are often the greatest hindrance to the return of those who have done wrong. Think of the shame of an unwed mother who wants to take part in our Sunday celebrations. Isn't she often frowned upon and forced to look elsewhere for sympathy and understanding? The younger son uses the word father 5 times because for him he is really a father. He knows that he received all gratuitously and that he does not deserve anything. The elder son, by enumerating his good deeds, shows himself to be more a servant than a son. For him, his father is a master. He never uses the word father. One consequence of this relationship with his father is his rejection of his brother, whom he calls your son. But the father very delicately immediately corrects him it's your brother. Jesus, Divine Master, you reveal the Father's heart to us. A Father who loves, not because we deserve it. Teach us to love others also without becoming barriers of their reception of your love through us. Amen.